Later in the podcast,
like if you just think about smiling, you have like your cheeks lift up a little bit and people will automatically find you more attractive.
So you're telling me that slavery was okay?
Was it not? Like you can't tell me.
What? No, that's crazy.
No, you cannot.
That's wild. Oh, the loudest sound ever?
Night terrors. Like this sound is actually terrifying.
They say America's number one, right? America number one, but like...
Is it really though? There's one country in the world. There's a country with no laws.
Really?
But I have a theory though. Would nostalgia still happen?
I got a couple things to say.
You got a couple things to say?
I got a couple things.
Do I sound pretty good?
You sound crisp.
How are you doing today? We're matching right now. Isn't that crazy?
We are matching. That is.
I thought you were gonna wear a black suit, so I put on my blue one.
I saw that. You came prepared.
And no, you had a whole blue suit going on.
Next time.
I want to bring up something completely random. One of the weirdest things that I do on my own time, but I've never told like anybody this, but I've really been wondering if there is somebody else that does this. I'm leading it. Sounds really bad, but it's not bad. In my mind, sometimes whenever I get bored, I have these little games that I play like in my mind, right? So one of them I do is I try and hit like all the middles of my thumb with my fingernail, you know, so it's like making a perfect diamond. I'm like drawing a diamond on my thumbnail. Huh? You know, like is there little mind games that you have for yourself? Because I have another one. Whenever I'm driving in the car, I'll blink my eyes and it has to be directly into the sky. There can't be like any telephone poles or trees. I have like a little laser that I shoot out and it can't hit anything. Or there's another one that I have where I can't step on a crack when I'm walking on the sidewalk. Like,
okay, the crack one I get.
Yeah, I take like
two. I don't know about that.
I made it up because I'm bored.
And these are like things you came up with like as a kid, like growing up.
Yeah, and I still do them today. Like I'll notice I'll sit in the car sometimes and I'll just like.
So make a diamond. I don't know what you like.
I draw a diamond on my thumb with my other thumb. You get what I'm saying? It's not like it's a weird thing to do, obviously.
Have you done it where like you're a kid and you're driving in a car and you imagine like a character jumping over buildings and cars?
Ah, that's weird.
You know,
I'm just kidding.
No, that's normal. Nah, you can't be like, really?
No, I've never done that.
Okay, see, that's a normal thing.
A character jumping over.
I've heard people do that. So like they're driving, right? And they're like, you know, their mom.
The kid's driving?
No, the kid is not driving. Their mom is driving, or whoever's driving. I don't know.
Okay.
The mom is driving and they're just chilling, you know, and then they're imagining like a character jumping over cars and like buildings and like.
That's kind of what mine is, I feel like, but mine's just like I'm shooting lasers out of my eyes. So wherever I'm looking, I just can't hit anything.
The laser, no. The nails, no. But definitely the cracks, I've done that.
I take it a step further too, because I take 2 steps every crack, or like 3 steps. Okay. So if I miss 1 step, then I fail too. So the objective is to like get across without running, like get my stride nice and wide.
Okay.
But it's sometimes not possible. Like sometimes the crack's too far, but usually I can get it pretty good.
Impossible challenge, yeah.
I just do that if I'm bored. I didn't know if you had something like that.
No.
It's so random, but I've never like really told anybody about it.
No, that's actually interesting. I don't know. Probably some other guy probably relates to it, but definitely
guys, if this happens to you, please let me know, because
I know for sure someone out there relates to the jumping car guy. Because like for me, I always had like this buff character like jumping, and he would like crush cars and things and jump almost like Mario on steroids. So
I like that. You know that movie that we were about to finish? Then you had to dip to go do your homework.
Yeah, hold on. First, let's talk about discussing the movie, because we went to the movies, right? And
Obviously.
So it was like what, last week?
Yeah,
something like that. And there was dry movies, nothing good, right? Besides the Taylor Swift.
They were all like just oven roasted, no like, seasoning,
nothing. Just it needed seasoning.
Yeah, it needed a little bit of pizzazz on it.
And you wanted to watch Saw X. I was like, are you sure you want
I didn't know what to watch. There's nothing it was the timing too, you know.
And I was like, wait, hold on. There's a movie called The Creator.
You described it so bad though.
I saw it like as a preview and I forgot everything about it, so I started making up stuff. Okay, so it's about this like godlike being who makes like creatures. I was like, Saw X and The Creator, which one do you want to watch?
All right, The Creator, definitely. Yeah, it was more interesting.
Yeah.
But that was how we got into the theater.
And then halfway through, I looked at the time. I was doing the math in my head. I was like, okay, so it's 11 o'clock and there's like 2 hours left of the movie, and I'm definitely not going to have time to go home and finish my assignment.
Yeah.
And I told her, like, oh, okay, I got to go.
Guys, I got to dip.
Yeah, I got to dip, and I just dipped. I went home and I looked at the assignment, and the assignment is the hardest thing in the world. I was like, I'm not going to get this done.
So he left for no reason, basically.
So honestly, I could have just stayed at the movies and watched.
Oh my God.
And I don't know how it ended, so.
I do though, but I'm not going to spoil it, obviously. But there's things that I wanted to talk about from the movie because they were crazy. Yeah. The craziest things you've ever. So you were still there when there was a point in the movie. It was like towards the start, and this is not really a spoiler because it's kind of the preface of the movie, but basically Los Angeles is nuked, right? and they're living in a Los Angeles that all the buildings are destroyed. Like robots are kind of roaming around and stuff like that. But I was kind of thinking like that could so easily happen to any city. Like anyone just drops a nuke, that city's gone just like that. It's like the snap.
I heard that like terrorist countries that like really want to nuke people, they have a list of
They probably
top
do.
cities of they want to nuke. So definitely high density.
I was thinking like how like that is so like that's possible. Like that could definitely happen.
And what sucks is like you'll never know. Like it's
yeah,
instant.
it's just.
If anything, it's better to live in those cities because when you die, it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
But if you live in like in the middle of nowhere, like Seguin, then you have to wait.
You experience
for the
that
blast.
radiation.
Yeah, you have to wait for the blast, and then the world slowly becomes apart. So it's better to just live in that.
I feel like there's only a certain radius though. Like it wouldn't destroy the whole world. It would probably do like good damage to the country. But
I heard that the thing with nukes is the worst part is the after effects. So
yeah, because the radiation.
And there will be no more farms, no more foods. And
and that's kind of what it was representing in the movie a little bit. Like they recovered a little bit, obviously. But just the thought of that happening kind of seemed realistic. It was a little scary to think about. Like I was just sitting there like, I do not want this to happen.
I was thinking about that the other day because like humanity is going to end at one point, right? So the question is how and when. So obviously we're not going to live forever, but it's either we're going to kill ourselves, something's going to kill us or something, I don't know.
Or we evolve into bigger beings. Elephants.
No, I don't know about that one. But yeah, definitely people think, oh, we're just going to download our consciousness to like computers and we'll just live forever.
And that's what they did in the movie. You remember that? You were there. We're talking about the reboot van. When the person
was cool.
So the person died in the movie. It's not a spoiler, but one of the people died and they got a USB. They stuck it in that person's brain because this person was actually a robot. There's like a team of robots in the movie and the team of still humans. The team of robots, one of them died, and the human grabbed a USB stick and he plugged it into the back of the robot's skull. So basically they transferred the consciousness to another robot who was already dead.
I feel like
that got lost.
Honestly, I feel like you said the same thing 3 different ways.
But it's cool.
Yeah, I think they know what I mean. But basically, it's like, basically someone went inside someone else's body temporarily. And I think the cool part was like temporary. Like you have only
like 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds of consciousness and then the person just died. And I think that was kind of like cool.
But I feel like that's a little weird though and a little disrespectful too.
Yeah, and
most definitely.
Yeah, like if that does happen at the future, like we couldn't revive Abraham Lincoln because in the rules of that movie,
it was only people that like the robots
died
too.
recently too.
Yeah.
So your brain has to be fresh though. So that's another thing. Like, what is consciousness?
I think it's just our soul. Like that's internally in our bodies, and it can be taken out whether like we pass away. Our souls can be like transferred around.
And that's the thing. Some people don't believe in consciousness though, so they just believe we're like walking. Like organic machines, and that's like, well, who are we though? Because if we're like,
but we all have our unique thoughts and stuff too. So,
and that's something because like everything about us is just chemical processes in our brain. Apparently, right? What's crazy to me is like every I think 5 to 7 years, every single cell in your body is replaced.
Oh, that's true, right?
You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if you like somehow regrouped all those old cells and put them together.
And you could be the old you.
Or who's the real you?
Oh, that's true. You keep changing forever.
We have the 7-year-old Kaiden, and then we just have you, regular Kaiden. So like, which one is the real Kaiden? Have you heard of it's like a thought experiment.
But that's just the cells, though. I think the consciousness always stays.
And that's the thing, like, but like personally, I believe in the soul, and some
because people still can like move around and stuff after their brain is like shot or whatever.
Yeah.
You know how snakes, they get chopped in half and they're like slithering around and stuff, and that's happened with humans too. Like they can still move around for a little bit after their brain's gone. You know what I mean?
I think that kind of relates to the movie too. Like the guy only had like 30 seconds.
Yeah, so it makes sense too. That's what I was thinking about. I was like, a snake can do the exact same thing. Like you cut it in half and it still like can move around.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know if it still bites, but
probably. I hope not.
That's a little scary.
I know that some people would eat frog legs and they put like salt.
Ew.
And then the
well, that's to each their own. You know, I'm not going to judge. Oh, this is something that I think is going to happen really close to now. It was another concept in the movie where basically a person, you know how they were traveling to the eastern side of the world, eastern civilizations, because we're in the western world, right? We're US, like Northern America, and the movie, they were going to like the Philippines. Obviously they don't speak the same language, so they had a machine that whenever they would talk, it would auto translate to the other language, which I think is gonna like really close to happening now.
I think we'll get to the point where there is no such thing as like different languages. There's only like one
a universal,
like one universal language, and we'll all speak.
Yeah, but that's kind of what they're doing with currency. Bitcoin, all the big boss men are trying to convert everyone to Bitcoin so we can all hop on one currency.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good thing though? Is it a good thing that...
No, I don't think it is.
Because everyone talks about, okay, let's have world peace. Is it a good thing that we're all just... You know, people want world unity, but the only way we can get world unity if we're all just one continent, one nation.
Well, like whenever a supercontinent comes back, that could happen. Yeah. But
the reverse of Pangea, we're gonna go back.
There was more, but before Pangea too. There was one called Rodinia, another supercontinent.
Oh yeah.
Because every 100 million so years, or a set amount of time, all of the continents merge back into one another, because there's tectonic plates underneath all the continents / pieces of land. And they always are moving, and now it's not as like fast paced, but when Earth was first forming, they were moving around super fast, like colliding into each other, say like a few meters every year or something. You know what I mean?
I remember that. Yeah.
But now it's like 1 meter or 1 meter per year or something like that. It's not too much, but that's kind of what's happening with like India and Eurasia right now. Like there's 2 tectonic plates and they're colliding into each other. That's what makes like the Himalayan mountains and all that stuff, but it creates a lot of earthquakes and all that stuff too. So, but it's like they always just they push together and then they collide back off and they push together. So we're in like right now we're going to push back into a full supercontinent.
So then at that point we should just come to one agreement, like we're all the same.
Yeah, because at that point, like, how do you decide because we're all just gonna be on the same land? It's crazy.
What do you think? Like, is that a good thing though? Like,
no.
Should we be more diverse?
I think there should be different countries and stuff, because, you can move here and it has this set of rules, this set of life, blah, blah, blah. Like, if we're all one, if one person doesn't, it's like there's going to be a huge group of people that don't like the rules or what's happening in the country.
Yeah, it's probably just a good thing that we're just, it sounds kind of messed up, like, it's a good thing we're separated, but it's like, it's bad if we have one leader, one government, so if you don't like these rules, go ahead and
because I kind of think about it. I had an assignment in a government class and it told me to make my own government. And I really don't know how to do that, but what I envisioned was like America was turned horrible, like just fires everywhere, the government sucked, so 1 million people went on ships, traveled to this continent near Australia, made their own government. And what I was thinking was they split it up into a ton of different states, but each state has their like own set of laws, all that stuff. So I guess it's kind of like maybe an anti-federalist government I don't know really what the term is.
No, I'm not very political person.
I just think it would be cool to like, this state has this set of laws. You can move here if you want, live this type of life, or you can live in this state, has this set of laws. That's kind of what the countries kind of are, or like it has this set of culture, this set of laws, this blah blah blah.
It's like a menu. You get to choose what you want.
You can just move wherever you want.
If you don't want a McDonald's, you just gotta get something else.
You can go to like the five star challenge country.
Restaurant. Real question is, what is the 5-star? Here's the thing,
countries?
Okay, this is gonna get really
let's hear it.
Controversial. So. They say America's number one, right? America number one, but like,
is it really though?
That's the thing though. So like, there's like a big controversy. Like, if you don't like America, go ahead and get out of our country. I was like, what the? I was like, well, I don't think there is such thing as the best country, because obviously every country has a problem.
All bias. There's all problems for each country. So it depends how you view it. It also depends like what the
there is no such thing as
going through.
The perfect country where everyone's happy. At the end of the day, that's another topic too. Like, no one will truly ever be satisfied. Like, everyone always wants the next big thing. Everyone wants to like like, even if we lived in a perfect country, people would still find a reason to complain or something, Let's discuss level 10 turbulence.
Hey, yo!
No, I'm kidding. Bro, what? Cut that out.
What are you talking about?
Cut that out.
There's one country in the world, it has complete freedom, no laws. There's a country with no laws.
Really? I need to go there.
It's in a border between Serbia and...
Alright, so this is Editing Caden speaking. I just wanted to say that it was Serbia and Croatia, and the country was called Liberland, just so you guys know. I was so off in the video.
A YouTuber made a video on it, Niko Liberland. You know him? Niko Liberland. Not Niko.
Not that guy?
Not Niko. His name's Niko Liberland.
Niko Liberland.
He has like 10 million subscribers on YouTube or something like that. But he went to this country where it's this island between Serbia and another country. It became such a big deal. Like, it couldn't become a country yet due to some laws or something. But somebody went to the island and kind of claimed it as their own, and they wanted to make it into a country. One of the countries bordering it got super mad. They put like a bunch of restrictions and boarding police around like the little island, so you can't ever get on that island, which makes it so he can't turn it into a country yet. The dude Niko, he went to Serbia and he was trying to help him make it a country, and he wanted to put a flag on it, but the issue is there's like boat policemen all over the place, and like there's a bunch of border regulations and stuff.
Is that one English YouTuber?
Yeah, he's British.
Niko.
Yeah, Niko. Yeah, he went there, and so he tried to get on the island at first. You know, he tried going through the borders, and they were saying like, no, you can't do this, even though technically they weren't really allowed to, but they're just like, nope, you can't go through here, blah blah blah. And so what he did eventually was he went all the way around to the top northern tip of it. And basically, I think it borders another country, so you could enter through that one, go through the other country, and then come back around. And then he took like a speed jet. And he went on the jet and he went just straight to the island with the police chasing him and stuff. He put the flag down and he claimed the country, so it's a country now.
I need to go there.
He got his own like citizenship.
Cinnamon
crunch ship. He got
ship.
his own citizenship. I thought it was a cool little story.
I need to go there. Recently, what I've been doing is like sometimes I just live life, right? And then I think a thought comes into my head.
Okay.
Josh, do you remember that cringiest thing you did?
Bro, self-sabotaging.
I know, and I'm just like at the store, and I just started like remembering horrible memories. So what I've done is I got like these notes.
Okay.
And I just write ambiguous things like the German joke at the award ceremony. No one knows what it means, but when I read it, I know what it means, and I remember the exact event and what the embarrassing thing was.
It's like inside jokes.
It's an inside joke. So I have a list of the most cringy. So if I ever want to humble myself, I just read the list, and just because I've done some pretty, I wish I never did that. But one of them was like we had to write an assignment like similar to yours, right?
Yeah.
Make our own country. So I was like making up. I didn't know what I was doing, so I was making like dumb rules. Like, all right, so the country's divided in 3 parts, and every part elects one person.
Yeah,
so,
that's how mine was kind of.
And that person has to decide. So only 3 people decide on what people. So there's no judicial whatever called branch. There's no there's no branches. There's only one branch, and it's the 3 guys, right?
Yeah, the 3 guys branch.
So then I'm just like writing this nonsense just so I can get the assignment done. And then the teacher says, "All right, guys, we're gonna be reading our assignment. I'm gonna be picking a couple students." And he's picking this guy. He reads it, and he picks the other guy, and he reads it, and then he picks my friend Leo.
Okay.
And he says, "Oh, I didn't do mine yet, but Josh did his assignment."
Oh no, he sabotaged you.
He looks at me. He points at me, and dude, I got so mad. And then I didn't want to read it, so I had to get up. And this was back when I was like antisocial, so I was like, "Once upon a time," in a dystopian government, and I'm just like reading, and I could tell people were bored because I'm looking, and people are like yawning, playing with their hair.
That's crazy.
And I'm thinking like, do I even have to read this? People don't even care. But yeah, that's like one of the cringiest things I've done. But yeah,
I thought you were gonna talk about like affirmation stuff when you were talking about that stuff,
like the list I made.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna start saying like, oh, you're the best person ever, or you know what I mean, self-affirmation.
I've tried that, but it doesn't work. Like if I need to go to something that's like nerve-wracking, I'm in my car, I'm like, you're the best, you can do this, and then it doesn't work. Like the moment I get out of my car, I'm just getting nervous again. So.
I think it's because you have to 100% believe in it, and you have to do it like either beginning of the day or like the night before, so you fully like dive into it like with that mindset. So when you wake up, you have that mindset of like, I'm totally going to be doing this today. You know what I mean?
But there's a problem where you become overconfident and you just start ignoring, like, you're not self-aware. That reminds me.
But there's a balance between that.
That is true.
And you have to find it, because if you're too bliss, then it's not going to work.
Do you remember the STAR test? Yeah. Okay. We had the reading STAR test, right? You have to read a passage. Some of the passages were so boring, but there was one of them was actually kind of interesting. It talked about how you can get, there's like a study of, there's a chemical. What's the chemical that makes you more like testosterone? A study came out like, if you just like, I can't for people who are listening, who are watching? People who are watching, if you go like this for like a certain amount of time, like 30 minutes, or if you put your leg on the table and you just like hold it like there for like a good 30.
You're shaking the cameras.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, cameras.
That's quick.
For if you just hold that position, like I'm a boss position, like put your hands in the
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Apparently your dopamine or some chemical increases.
Testosterone increases because
like, massively.
Because there's like nervous tensions. So whenever we're at interviews or whatever, we tend to like tap our legs together. Or this really means that you're not open to conversation. Like you're really, it's like crossing your arms over each other, folding them over. It means that you're really like closed off, I guess, and standoffish. But if you're more just like have a better expression or posture with yourself, then it can mean like you look more opening and stuff.
Yeah. Body language. How good are you at reading like on other people?
I don't know. I can read Hannah pretty good, but she's my girlfriend, so
that makes sense.
I
would hope so.
I feel like I'm okay at it
because I've hanged out with some friends, right? And then we go home, and then they're like, "Did you see the way that guy was looking at you? Do you see his
like mean mugging?" I don't really get that.
I know. I hate the most because I have my sister, right?
Yeah.
And my sister was like, "Did you see the way he was looking at me?" I was like, Well,
it's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. Like,
yeah.
And then she has these grudges just because the person didn't look at them or looked in a certain way. And for me, like sometimes this is kind of like weird for me, but like I look at someone in the hallway, I'm walking. Sometimes I mentally smile, but I forget to smile physically.
No, that's a thing. That's a real thing. Right? Did you know this?
No, I didn't. Because like I'm walking in the hallways and they smile and they say hi, and I'm like I just look at them like.
Oh.
But like mentally I'm smiling, but I just forgot to smile physically, so I look weird.
If you actually think about smiling in your brain, you smile a little bit in real life.
Well, I guess for me it's not, because I just forget.
You're not thinking about it hard enough, but that's a real thing. Yeah. I've been doing it recently. I've just been trying to like feel happier. Like if you just think about smiling, you have like your cheeks lift up a little bit. You don't actually have to be truly smiling. If you just think about like happy things or you think about smiling, your cheeks lift up a little bit, and people will automatically find you more attractive if you do that. Dang. Because you know how we all have that RBF, you know, or just like
bruh. Yeah,
straight face, but if you just like smile a little bit, if you think about it, it's not that much of an effort, you know. You just think about smiling a little bit, and when people see you, that kind of means you're like more open, you know what I mean?
That reminded me that I think it was 7th grade. There was this one guy. He was like, I don't know. He was always on something every class we had. So this one day, we're
7th grade.
I know 7th grade. This guy was a philosopher.
Okay.
So these girls were talking about depression and you know whatever. And then the guy's like, guys, I don't believe in depression. I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm just doing my work. It was art class, and out of all the classes, art class. And I'm just like drawing my little thing, and then I'm listening, right. And then he's like, guys, I don't believe in depression. Like, if you're depressed, like, just be happy. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm thinking in my head, like, it's not that serious. I know depression has become, like, a big topic now. Because back then, it was, like ignored. Like, oh, if you're sad, just, like, who cares about it? But now people are, like, more into therapy and, you know, like, talk to someone. Which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, it's good to just express yourself, at least. Because we all need therapy, I believe. Like, everyone needs to at least get their thoughts out. Because for me, personally, too, like, whenever I have something going on with my girlfriend or whatever, I'm not really talking to anybody. Like, it's just mainly me, but whenever she has an issue, she's kind of talking to her female friends and all that. Yeah, so it kind of builds up with me. And I don't really ever get mad, though, so it's not that big of a deal. But whenever I do talk to people, it definitely helps. Like, just unload what I'm thinking about and stuff like that. Get some
advice?
Yeah, get some advice back on it.
That's good, yeah. Well, don't ask me, because...
bro is not the Rizzler.
When were you the most mad? Like
most mad?
Like, what was the thing that got you the most mad? Like, do you remember the time where you're like...
I don't really...
That's a hard one, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't get mad a lot. But when I do, I feel like it's all pretty even. Pretty equally upset at stuff.
Like what do you do when things just don't go your way? Like, problem after problem, like... Yeah,
it does get frustrating, but I kind of just like let it sit, like simmer, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just like, it's cooking, and nothing's been cooked yet. It's undercooked still. Yeah, it doesn't ever get anywhere usually. When I do get mad, maybe I just take it out with that day, like whenever I'm talking to people and stuff. Yeah, obviously not the best thing to do. There was like a point the other day where I was just like looking at YouTube, and I was just like, bro, things are not going the way I want them to. And I was kind of just like sad a little bit. It wasn't mad. It was just like pure, like, why isn't this going my way? But there's times you have to realize where everything takes time. And if you just keep doing what you're after, if you keep pursuing whatever you're after, everything will go your way. But it's just, there's ups and downs along the way. And I guess what I did, though, was I went outside, because I haven't been outside for like 24 hours. Like, I got to see some daylight. It's been a minute.
Touch some grass,
Yeah, touch grass. That's step number 1.
All right, that's good.
Step number 2 was eat something, because I hadn't really been eating. So I had to eat, feed up, and also sleep. Very important, too.
Right.
All 3 important things. And I listened to some Drake. Had me pumped up. I went to the store, you know.
All the dogs.
Yeah, I let all my dogs out, but
okay.
I guess, yeah, there's not really a time I could remember right now where I was super upset at somebody. What about you?
For me, well, I guess, yeah, it does apply to me, but I don't get mad that often, but especially when I have a problem with, like, if things don't go my way, I hate when life takes control over me. I want to take control of my life. Like, for example, last week I had to go to, like, a birthday, like, dinner. Okay. But then I also had the podcast to do with you last week. Yeah. And I was like, man, I wish I could just do both things, but I just can't. So I had to, like, let go of one, right?
Obviously, yeah. And this one can always be rescheduled.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And then the birthday thing, like, I can't miss that. So I hate when, like, life takes control over me. I want to do things my way, but I have to, you know, accept the fact that, you know, things just won't be always going my way. I know some people who get so mad over the littlest things. Like, I remember this guy, he had these shoes. He was with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend was like, she had a water bottle. She's like messing around, and then it's just water.
Yeah.
Water dripped on the guy's shoe, and he got mad. Dude.
Some people are like that, though.
I know, he's like, watch out, like, what are you doing? You're messing up my shoes. I'm thinking
his own girl?
I was like, bro, it's not that serious. It's just water.
It really, I think that a lot of the time, too. But to go back to your point of, like, you can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever watched Harry Potter before? Okay, there's this item that a character in the book has named Hermione Granger.
Oh, yeah.
She's like one of the main characters in the little wizarding school that they got. She has this item that she uses, I think in the 3rd or 4th book, and I don't remember the exact name, but I know exactly what it does. So basically, it's like this little stopwatch clock. One of those old ones that has all the hands and stuff. Mm-hmm. And basically, she was taking all these advanced classes. You know, her stereotype in the movie is she's just this extremely smart girl. So basically, she was trying to take all these advanced classes, but the times didn't match up. So all at the same time, she had like 3 classes at the same time, and it's a wizarding school. So you know what they did? They gave her this item that she could basically be multiple places at once at the same time. But she held it from everybody, like at school. She wasn't really allowed to tell anyone that she had it. But basically, she could rewind the time, or she would go through one timeline. She would rewind the clock. She would go to her other class that she missed, rewind the clock, and then go back to the 3rd class, and then live like that.
Oh, but she would still retain all the knowledge.
Yeah, and it's still technically the same time. Do you think you would want that, like if you could have it?
Man, that's the thing.
Because there's really no limit to how long you can go back, but it's one of those things where it's like you can't let anyone see you, or so there's like a little catch to it.
I mean, yeah, everyone wants to, but I think everything has like a consequence. Like that goes back to like there's a reason why we have choices, right?
Yeah.
And you can only choose one. You can't go back to the other one. So
exactly.
I feel like if you're going back to like trying every single choice, there's no point in having.
Yeah. Well, her purpose was kind of good, I would say, but I mean, regardless though, anyone can take that and just like go change the course of time, and we'd all be affected by it. I have
thought about that. Like, what if you had like a 10-second redo button? So you can just do anything you want for 10 seconds, redo, and nothing happened.
That's not that much of time, though. But I mean, I get what you're saying.
I would use it to just see people's reactions, like.
Mm-hmm. But there would always be a different outcome. There would always be a chain reaction to everything that you do in the past.
Like the timeline theory I was talking about.
Yeah. What's that theory?
This is the thing that I've been waiting to talk
about. I want to hear it again because I forgot.
Okay, so I don't think people realize how much everything is connected.
Okay.
Like, every single.
It's
thing.
like a web, kind of.
Yeah, like Spider-Verse. But like literally, us sitting here in this room right now could literally prevent a World War III in some way, and we don't know how. But have you heard of like the butterfly effect?
Remind me. I know.
Like a flap.
Like everything's kind of connected.
Like something as simple as a butterfly flapping its wings. Could somehow cause a tornado, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how is that possible? Like just small chain reactions. So, like going back to episode 1, you were talking about like our origin story, like how we met.
Yeah.
So imagine if I didn't talk to you, this would never happen right now.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking about like different timelines. So the smallest actions you can make just could divert into a whole different timeline, and like we'll never know whatever happens. So like it's kind of crazy to think like everything we do right now affects something in the future. So I got too lost in the sauce.
No, I get you.
I got lost in this.
Got ahead of himself.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying though, because that's true. But I also believe that everything happens for a reason. Like obviously, us meeting was probably meant to happen, and that's why we met. And you can bring in like other universes type deal or other parallel multiverse type thing, but in this world at least, like I think we're meant to meet. Because regardless, I think I was still gonna go up and talk to you, even if you hadn't, because I'd seen you healing around the school, so I was gonna talk to you regardless. But I think everything just happens for a reason, and that's bad to say, obviously, because people die, just like diseases and all that stuff. But everything's kind of meant to happen, like everything lines up perfectly.
I think so too. I feel like people always like talk about like, well, what does time look like, right? For me, I think it's like almost like a YouTube video. I know it sounds kind of like crazy, but like when you have a YouTube video, you have like the progression bar. Yeah. And it shows you how much is left. And if you hover over it, you get to see like snapshots of the video. So I feel like everything's already planned out. Yeah. Like we're just following the script.
That's
true. Like this is just like everything, like you just said, everything has a reason. So I think we're just like living part of a script.
But then we face those choices too, where we can change like the outlines. Maybe.
That's the thing. Like how far deep does it go? Like how far is everything connected? Like is the reason why someone's watching this video is because I'm right here? Like
no.
Like the reason, like if World War II didn't happen, would I still be here? Like would I still exist? I don't think so. No. That's how far, because
our parents, like our ancestors were all
if World War II didn't happen, then there would be different couples. Some people would
and there'd probably be another world war.
Some people would be alive, some other people would not be alive, and then I probably wouldn't exist. So everything is connected. So you sitting wherever you're watching this or hearing this, us sitting here is going to affect something in the future. We might not know how.
That's very true.
I think that's pretty interesting.
It's a crazy concept.
I think the other thing I talked about is because we were at the mall.
Yeah, we were.
I was bringing this up.
He was just bugging out of nowhere, like just talking about the weirdest theories.
This is the type of stuff I think about before I go to bed.
It's bad. It's gonna keep you up.
Going back to like, what is the shape of time?
The shape?
You ever think about that? Like,
what do you mean?
What is the shape of the universe?
I think it's just that flat elliptical plane. Have you ever seen those pictures?
Like
it's
a plane, like a grid.
Yeah, it's kind of like flat. There's more dimension to it, but unless if you look at it from that far away, it's probably just gonna be like this really flat elliptical. I think it's called shape. It's like an oval kind of flat. You know what I mean?
Like a flat disc?
Yeah, kind of like that, maybe.
Yeah, some people see it like that. So I would think like, well, what is the shape of time? Like, we all think it's like a line. I was talking to a friend like, years ago. And he brought up an interesting point. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, man, that's dumb. He told me that, what if time is a circle?
Okay.
And I was thinking like, man, that's dumb. But the more I'm thinking about like, well, what if it is a circle? Like, what if time is just a loop? And that brings me back to like, Deja Vu.
Okay.
Like, why do we have deja vu?
That's a crazy thing to think about, because when I first started having it, when I was like, the earliest I can remember when I was 10 or 11, I told my mom like, I'm psychic, I saw this moment happen already. She's like, no, you're just having deja vu. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
And that's crazy how that affects, I don't know, does it affect every human?
I think it does. I think it's just an effect that everyone has.
But that seems like, why though? I don't think people have the answer.
Well, because if you study psychology, you can maybe learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's places that just look so familiar, because in our brain we always have memories of things, right? Regardless if we can remember them or not, they're always buried deep down. We can say we forgot something, and maybe people have, but a lot of the time it's so far down in our brains that we just can't remember it. So if you take that in mind, every place we've ever seen in our life has to match up with maybe something that happens in the future, like such a similar situation that we just kind of remind ourselves like, maybe this already happened. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's for you, but when I go through deja vu, it's not only like things that I see that look familiar, but it's thoughts.
It's the actions too.
I have the exact same thought process, like thought trains, and it's going again. I'm like, wait, I remember this. Wait, I remember this too, and it keeps on going. I've had like long, like 30-second deja vus where like it just like, wait, this is the same song that was playing in my car. Wait, this is the same person that just texted me.
Yeah,
and it's wild. It's like there's no way, but people think like, oh, like if the universe is gonna come to an end, right? People think, well, the Big Bang was like an explosion, right? Mm-hmm. So what if towards the end of the universe it just implodes?
There's 3 theories about that too.
And then it shrinks, right? And then it just explodes again. So
there's a theory, it's like I don't know what it's called, but there's like that theory, or there's another theory where our universe infinitely expands and never goes back to a Big Bang. We can just infinitely expand. I guess those are the 2 main ones. Like it either goes forever or just brings back in and then expands again.
I heard one where like, is there an edge of the universe? So like, all right, this sounds kind of crazy, but we're going to use Pac-Man as an example.
Okay.
So you ever play Pac-Man? I'm pretty sure you have, right? That little Waka Waka. So the Waka Waka, every time he goes to like the very edge, he exits the stage, but he comes back on the left stage.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
People think like the universe technically is infinite, but it's also finite at the same time. So what if the universe is just a square, but the moment you leave the right side, you pop out on the left side?
Or you know how like on 2D maps of the world, you have like Asia's on this side and then you have Europe or whatever, or they're all like kind of connected. So if you keep walking left on that map, you're going to turn out on the right side of the map.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. I feel like maybe it's just one big circle, so we're just walking around technically in the circle, and we end back up.
It is infinite, but it's also finite.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like that. But thinking about deja vu and stuff, nostalgia, do you ever have that a lot of the time?
Nostalgia. For me, okay, this kind of sounds crazy, but for me, the biggest way I get nostalgia is through, this sounds crazy, through scents, like smells.
Like smelling something?
Like smelling something, like, also music too sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if some people remember, but you guys remember the Revenge video from Captain Sparkle's?
Like the music video?
Music video, Minecraft music. Every time I listen to that, I just get instant memories of me like a kid playing Minecraft. Also with scents, like there's this fragrance that I have. I'm not gonna say the name because I gatekeep all my fragrances, and I know some people who are gonna listen to this, but there's a fragrance that when I just smell it, I just get instant memories of the fall of 2022, and that was like a pretty good.
Oh my gosh!
You remember the fall of 2022?
Not really.
Oh, for me,
I forgot.
It was a pretty good month for me.
Okay,
a pretty good season, and I smell it, and I just like I'm instantly teleported, and that's where I get nostalgia, like mostly from scents. But I don't know for you.
Yeah, me too. It's same thing, kind of just whenever we think back on stuff, and that's when life is like easier. right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, life was simpler. That's why we have nostalgia, because right now life is always kind of getting harder. You know, you're always adding more things onto your life. Like later in life, you got health issues to worry about. When you're a kid, you don't really have anything to worry about. You're just trying to eat milk. I don't know how to say that, and walk and stuff like that. But then you enter like your preteen era and you're trying to like do school and stuff. And then you enter your teenage era and you're trying to develop as a person kind of. And then you enter adulthood and you're doing taxes and stuff. So it's like always getting harder. Life kind of always getting harder. There's exceptions for some people, but I think that's kind of the main idea. It's like life's kind of always getting harder. So that's why we have nostalgia in the first place, right?
Yeah, I think it's like sometimes people think, man, my life is so tough right now. Why can't it be like back then?
Yeah.
When life was good.
And that's why it exists, because that happens. But I have a theory though, if life starts off hard, right? We start off out of the womb, filing taxes, going through Ebola. I don't know. Random things. We're just having the worst time of our life. But as we age, life gets easier. Would nostalgia still happen? Because we're putting it in the sense of like nostalgia is only happening because life is easier. And I think there is exceptions to that now. Like maybe if you're born rich and you get poor later on in life, like I guess life's kind of getting harder in the sense like everyone's kind of going through the same timeline-ish. Like life starts off easy, it gets harder. But if we reverse that, life starts off hard, gets easy, would nostalgia still kind of exist?
We need to test that theory. We need to just like,
we gotta ask somebody.
Kidnap a baby and just well, I don't know if we'll go that far.
Hold on.
Well,
it's for an experiment.
In the name of science, of course.
Yeah. Just put a little label. Have him sign a contract.
Exactly. So what do? We just like he's out of the womb and we just force him to file my taxes.
Yeah.
And then afterwards,
give him no food, starve him.
And life gets more easier. And then we might get him a couple of chicken nuggets here and there. And then his life will be super easy.
Life is a breeze by the time
we'll
he's
ask
like
him, hey,
30.
do you remember when your life was better? He's like, well, no, my whole life was terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's we should try that.
I think there may be, if anyone ever is hearing this, that maybe can attest to that theory. Like maybe your life starts off really hard. You know, your parents pass away, or you just like have a really rough start to your life. Sorry, I'm getting a little combobulated.
Like a horrible spawn point.
Yeah, like you spawn in it like hardcore mode, but it transitions to like easy mode.
Peaceful, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad how
I feel like it wouldn't. I feel like nostalgia wouldn't happen.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, we gotta test that out. Like I'm saying, like there's a hospital down like a couple blocks away. We just gotta steal up. I don't know if you're not.
Maybe.
Probably not. Probably.
Isn't there movies about that? Just baby swap.
You know what a crazy thing I heard? There was a. I don't know if it's like proven to be true, but there was like an emperor who wanted to see, what if we had an island full of babies, we raised them up,
okay,
would they make their own language? What would they speak?
Oh yeah.
So the reason why we speak English is because we rose, like, parents, spoke English, and that's how we heard it as baby. But like, so what this emperor did, he had like this island, he had like a bunch of babies and then nurses.
He actually did this?
I think I heard it somewhere. I don't know. You hear a lot of things, so you don't know if it's true.
Okay.
Someone can fact check me on this. But so he had these nurses there on the island, and they raised these children, and they had a rule: the nurses could not speak a single word.
Okay.
So they just lived in a vow of silence, and they raised these children, and apparently, rumor has it, they just spoke gibberish.
I think that would be true though, because we learn what we're around. Like we're grown by our environment.
Isn't that crazy? How like some people spend years trying to learn one language. Right. I have an uncle who's been in the United States for 30 years and he cannot keep a single conversation in English.
Okay.
But babies can learn English in the 3 years that they are first alive.
Well, yeah, but that's because the younger we are, I know this is a fact.
Oh yeah.
Like
the spongier the brains are.
I don't think that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the younger we are, the better we retain information, because we don't have any information starting off. We're just everything we can learn. We're just putting into our minds, and it's also just easier to learn a language when you're younger. Because I used to try and learn like French and Spanish and stuff, and I remember reading and hearing about like, do it now while you can, because when you're older, we don't retain that information as well. Like it's still possible to learn new languages and stuff, but when you're younger, your brain is just infinitely like collecting all this new information and stuff. Yeah. So I think that's kind of how it plays into it.
How many languages can you speak?
One, English.
English.
I can say kumalala, kumalala.
That is not English. You told me you took Spanish. What? Spanish 4?
Spanish 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's the schooling system. It's because there was COVID that happened, right? So instead of I would have been amazing if we could just sit in a classroom and have a conversation with the teacher. But no, COVID happens my first year of taking Spanish. We switched to online. I'm stuck with like Duolingo. It's like the cat is opening the fridge. Man, when am I ever going to say that sentence? I'm never going to say that.
How bad did COVID hit for you?
Oh, you mean like my life?
Yeah, like how that was.
It was amazing for me. Yeah. That's the weirdest thing to say because COVID was horrible.
Yeah.
But it was so amazing for me. Think about this in my perspective of life right now at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
I'm a 15-year-old kid. All I want to do is just sit inside and play video games. I don't want to go to school. It's so boring for me. Like I ace all my schoolwork. I'm really good at school. Not to brag, but all I want to do is just sit at home, play Minecraft, or go outside and play with the neighbors and stuff. Like I don't want to be doing the school stuff. So it's great, you know. I don't have to go to school anymore. Like it gets so much easier because at the time too, I talked about this in the previous episode, but like I didn't really have anybody at that time. So just being at home was like the greatest thing. But what made it better was when I started that YouTube channel, it blew up during COVID. So that made my COVID like amazing for me because I had all these fans that I could connect to. Thousands of people were tuning into what I was putting out there, and people were joining the Discord server, people were commenting. And so for me, it was I just remember it being amazing because
what is your channel called? The first one?
Too Much Skill?
Oh. I was going to say Legendary Gamer 101.
What?
Oh, no, I remember.
That's the most generic name ever.
Well, I remember it was something like, what was it called? I forgot instantly.
Too Much Skill.
Too Much Skill, yeah. So what's going to happen with that? You're going to make more videos or no?
For gaming, keep that as gaming. Keep the other one as vlogging. Keep this one as podcasting.
Dang, okay.
It's a lot of struggle trying to figure out what to do with it, but I want to keep it because that's like memories, you know.
Yeah, it's like
I privated all the videos though, so I'm starting a clean slate. Like nice. I still have them, but I want to just start fresh. You know what I mean?
How many subscribers do you have on that one?
2.3.
Dang, okay.
So it's somewhere. I'm monetized.
You can make money on that. Dang.
That's kind of why I want to go back to it. Like I know it sounds bad that like, oh, I just want to do it for money, but I'm at that point in life where I kind of need some money now.
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
I feel like it's respectable for some people. If you're just like sitting there like 3 a.m. challenge, oh, go subscribe, like blah blah blah. For me, it's just like if you subscribe, please only subscribe if you like the content. You know, I'm not like forcing you to subscribe.
Yeah.
Not forcing you to do anything, but it's that call to action. It's like, okay, I provided you with this, so you can provide me this. You know, it's like a trade.
Everything, yeah. It's an equal exchange at some point.
Yeah, and the money is just like to help me live. Like if we lived in the society where we didn't need money, I wouldn't care about it. Obviously, I would just care about getting viewers and like connecting to people and stuff. But sadly, you know, I kind of need money, so I might switch back to that one.
I'm always thinking like everyone's always complaining, oh man, this economy sucks, gas is too high, tuition is too high. I was like, well, at one point, was the economy ever good? Like, I mean, I've never been alive that long. I've only been alive for a couple of years, but
like, these are like first world problems.
Yeah.
If you go to a second world country or third world country, they're worrying about like, how do I get water? How do I get food? We're worrying about, is our Wi-Fi working?
Yeah.
Is my phone on Instagram? Like, is Instagram working correctly? You know, all those things. So it just changes wherever you live at, where you've grown up at. But
that remind me, I was taking a driver's safety course.
Oh God.
I won't get too far into why I had to take it, but there was a question that kind of got me thinking, like, is stress good? And I was like, well, no. And I put no. And then I got the answer wrong. And they told me that stress is good because it spices up life. Because if we lived a pain-free life, life would be
we can never grow.
Life would be boring. It would just be simple.
Yeah. There's a balance with everything in life,
because I'm balancing my schoolwork and my work and then, church work and all these common things. And I think it's fun to have like a little challenge, you know, because if I didn't have all these things, I'd just be like sitting in my room doing nothing.
You'd be like me right now.
Yeah, I'd be like doing nothing. Yeah. So I got a lot of things to do. So yeah.
I have things to do, but it's more online. But anyway, I agree though. Like there should be stress in life. There should be challenge because without that, we can never grow.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you're starting like a business and you just immediately blow up, you're like, oh man, I'm the best at this. Like I'm such a great entrepreneur. I'm just never gonna fail. The time where you actually like fail, like your numbers go down, you lose revenue and all that stuff. That's like the point that really tests you. It's like, can you do this if you can't bounce back from this one failure? You kind of need failure to learn, like, I can still do this.
I don't know who said this quote. I think it was like Master Wu or something like that. Sensei Wu. Remember Sensei Wu?
From Kung Fu Panda? Master Oogway?
Ninjago.
Oh, no. All right, I was close.
He said something along the lines of, and mistakes are your best teachers. I don't know if he said it.
Mistakes?
Mistakes are your best teachers. Or something like that.
I agree with that.
Someone said it. I don't know. Some old dude said
Someone smart.
Yeah, someone smart said it.
But that's how we learn. Like, making mistakes is the only way to learn. Because think about it. No one in the world knows everything.
Right.
No one in the world will ever know anything unless, AI gets that fancy. But one person can specialize in automotive stuff. They'll only know like automotive stuff. They won't know how to like maybe cook or whatever. You can have a jack of all trades is what they call it. You can have someone who knows how to video edit, ski, skateboard, but they don't know how to be a doctor. Or maybe they do, but there's just something we won't ever know. We won't always know everything. So
that's kind of scary. Yeah.
It's not really scary though. I feel like that's kind of meant to. That's how it's supposed to be, because that's why we have blue collar jobs or like people working these specific.
But I feel like that kind of like that drives us to go forward. Like humanity, like, oh, we don't know why stars are in the sky, so let's find out.
Yeah.
We don't know what's on the moon, so let's go to it.
And we don't know, so we keep pushing ourselves. Right?
I think it's a good thing to an extent. It's also like, you know, it's kind of scary to think about. Like, and then that kind of ties in with like gossip. Like, oh, I gotta know what this is.
Okay.
Like the one thing I hate.
That's what makes our brain.
I hate when people say they like, oh, Josh. Oh wait, never mind. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm like,
nah, I hate that
when
too.
People do that. They're like,
just tell me, bro.
I know. I hate that so much. Like, all right, just tell me. If you're gonna tell me, just tell me right now.
You already had the thought. Like, you might as well just say it.
Yeah. What if someone was talking about me right now? We don't know.
I would rather not know.
That's the thing. Like, it drives me insane. Like, oh, what if someone's talking about me right now? I don't even know. Like, are they saying good things about me? I hope so. Like, so that's why it's probably best not to engage in those things.
I feel like sometimes it's better to not know everything too, though.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you know how you're gonna die, you're obviously always gonna try and prevent it.
Yeah.
But there's no preventing it, because that's ultimately how you die, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's already set in stone, kind of. Like, if you know how it happens, you're just gonna be living your life like absolutely paranoid and all that stuff. So I think it's better if we just don't know a lot of things.
Here's the thing: is knowledge a curse?
It can be, though, if you know too much.
If we know too much, is having that drive to know more a bad thing?
No, I think having passion and always wanting to learn is an amazing thing, because that's what pushed us to make technology. That's what pushed us to go to space. Like, who was the first person to just like think, I want to go up there? Like, what is up there? You know what I mean? And so we did it. We figured it out.
Yeah.
But there's just things in life that we probably shouldn't figure out. You know what I mean? Like how we're all going to die, or if we can time travel or all that stuff.
Here's the thing. Have we reached the limit of humanity? Are we at the limit right now? Because I asked my brother this, right? My brother's like 10 years older than me. And I asked him like, man, I told him like, man, I think we're at like peak.
We're at peak?
Like I showed him my iPhone. I like the brand new iPhone. I was like, I think it's not going to get any better than this. And if it will, it's just like smaller upgrades. Like, no, dude, I had the same idea 10 years ago. We had the Blackberries. They probably don't even know what Blackberries are.
What are Blackberries?
You don't even know. They're like really old phones. And it was like, yeah, when the Blackberries came out, we told ourselves, yeah, this is it. This is peak.
Yeah.
And now we got phones with like bajillion cameras on the back, like Samsungs and then all these kind of things.
Looks like a bowling pin, like a bowling ball.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here right now thinking like, oh, we're at peak. Like we're not going to get any better.
We're definitely not at peak though, because Tokyo's way advanced from where we are right now. So we're not even close, because they're ahead of things. But if you go to like a third world country, they're nowhere close to where we're at. So
I think okay, so some math nerd probably knows this, but what is the shape where it's like it kind of goes like this?
Huh? Do that again?
A parabola? No, that's probably not.
Yeah, a parabola, like McDonald's happy face.
But not that happy. It's like a hat, like it goes slowly and then it goes quickly up.
Yeah, that's like a parabola.
Yeah, so I feel like that's us. Like we are gonna keep going up, but it's like slow.
It's exponential growth, is what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, my teacher said something super interesting the other day.
What do you say?
I'm in geology, right? That's how I knew about all the tectonic stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
study of rocks, study of Earth history and stuff.
Okay.
The dude was saying though, if we put the whole history of Earth on one calendar year, right? January 1st to December 31st. Earth has 4.5 billion years of history.
Okay.
From geologists, right? Geologists are saying that, obviously. Maybe not everyone believes that, but that's what geologists claim, because rock evidence and stuff.
So if you shrunk it down to 1 year.
Yeah, if you shrunk 4.5 billion years of history down into one calendar year. So like all these events happening, just put it into 1 year. Instead of the 4.5 billion years, condense it down.
Humans will only pop out around March?
No.
Oh.
This is first life. This is bacteria. This is bacteria, like one single cell life just roaming the earth. Like all there is like underwater. There's no land and mammals or anything yet.
So we're barely scratching the surface.
Yeah, so that's like 90 days of no life. 90 days is a super long time. Like I cannot imagine that.
And that's the thing, like it's going to get a little controversial, but like how do you think life started? Cuz I'm trying to like listen to this evolution theory, right? And it's like, there's a huge controversy because I don't know if people know, but I'm a man of faith, right?
Yeah. So that's why I didn't want to say that this is definitive
I know.
proof.
So for me, there's some things where I'm consider myself agnostic, where it's like I don't know. Agnostic means like it's not either or, right? It's just like, well, I just don't know. So for me, as a man of faith, I believe in God, and I believe God created everything. But how he did it, people have debates like, oh well, was it evolution? Was it this? I don't think evolution cancels out the theory of God. I feel like if there is evolution, then God is the one who guided that process, right? Some Christians are like, oh, evolution is from the devil. We can't be preaching this at schools. I'm like, well, come on, like.
Someone's stepdad once told me, I was like, oh, if you go 1,000,000 light years away from Earth, you can see Earth 1,000,000 years ago because that light hasn't traveled that far yet. And he was like, no, Earth's only been around for 2,000 years. I was like, oh my gosh. All right.
Young Earth theory. Yeah, so some Christians do believe that the Earth is only about 4,000 years old, which I'm not saying it is. I just don't know.
I just didn't like how he was like, no, you're wrong. Like, bro, chill out.
And that's the thing with like I don't like people who are like, I don't know some certain things. Like, you can't be the person to say I know everything because you don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
And the point I'm trying to make is like some things like are kind of suspect about me. Like, I can't understand how we went from rock to bacteria. Where is that gap? Like, how do we go from non-living to living? Like, I've heard like videos and professors explain. I don't.
I'll hook you up with what I know.
All right, you hook me up. To me, it doesn't make sense. I know some people are like, well, unless some sort of like scientist can come up to me, explain to me.
Yeah, my professor could do it a lot better than I could.
Yeah, I'll probably have to talk to your professor.
I was falling asleep in class. I was like,
yeah.
It's just crazy though, because he was also saying that humans were not introduced to Earth, if you go back to that 1 year thing, till 11:58 at New Year's. 11:58 p.m. We're 2 minutes old in that timeline.
Wow, that's actually crazy. Right?
Yeah, or I think it might have been 11:45 for like Neanderthals or whatever.
Yeah.
But like where we are today, 11:58 p.m. in the timeline.
That's why I believe it's like a parabola. Like we are increasing, but
see, that's why I was agreeing with you, because
like we're going up, but
it was so slow at the start.
In terms of the x-axis, we're not moving that much. Y-axis maybe, yeah, but the x-axis, like the new iPhone probably has like another camera, and then like holograms. Like, are we gonna get to the point where like you see sci-fi movies like holograms just popping up left and right?
That's scary.
Like, I don't know if we're gonna get to that point, honestly. Like, how do you think humanity is gonna? Like, are we gonna kill ourselves?
I think I think AI is getting really advanced right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You can tell from 20 years ago, from today, we have AI that's literally just doing our homework and
here's the thing.
being people.
Have you used AI to do your homework?
No, I have not. No, not yet. I was debating about it, but no, I don't really need to.
I have to come clean.
Oh no.
Okay.
I don't think it's that bad.
Curiosity. I haven't used it to like cheat, but I've used it to help me because I'm taking a computer science class, and computer science is about solving puzzles, and I'm trying to write this program. It's so hard, I can't understand. So I'm like, well, let's try this AI thing, right? So I go to AI and I type in write a program, and it does it in front of my eyes, and it's blowing my mind. And I tried it out, and it works perfectly.
Yeah.
So I use it to study like how did the AI do it, and I kind of say, oh, I see what he did. So it kind of teaches me. I don't use it to like, all right, do my assignment, all right, submit the assignment. No, I try to use it to like learn. But yeah,
because my professor has a thing about that. He's one of the only professors on this campus I've seen that allows you to use AI, which I thought was when I first went into the school year, all the teachers in their syllabus were like, no AI. You like absolutely, which is crazy because that's never been a thing before.
Now it's a conversation.
And now it has to be a conversation. But he was saying that as long as you use it in a creative way, you're not using it in like plagiarism. Wow. Now that can be taken a weird way, but he's saying like, oh, if you're just saying write me this, all AI is doing is grabbing information off the internet from other sources. AI is not really producing that stuff yet. It's not self-thinking, but it's taking little bits of information from all over the internet. And so when you put it in that sense, that's when it becomes bad, because you're plagiarizing. But if you're like, give me video ideas for, like a YouTube channel, okay, that's a little more reasonable. Or if you're just like using it in a way to provoke imagination, I guess, because we can't think of everything. I think all ideas exist, but we're just waiting for someone to get to it. You know what I mean? So if that's the theory, AI, can help spark some different ideas that we can reach and maybe explode with, like, in content-wise. Or
in highly dense areas, that's where a lot of ideas are mixed and exchanged. So for example, like in the Civil War, the South, these people are like very, conservative, right? They don't want to mess with anyone else. Because they lived far apart. So they lived on farms, and, they were like, I don't know, a couple 10 miles away from the next person. Meanwhile, in highly dense areas like in New York City, you're right next to your neighbor. So and there are a lot of immigrants. So there's a lot of exchanges of ideas, and that's why you get more. I
think it's called the cultural pot theory. Like all cultures are coming together and connecting.
So if AI is synthesizing and mashing other ideas, that's developing more ideas. So yeah, that's interesting to think about. At this point, it's just synthesizing things that it finds online, right? It's not really thinking
it's not thinking for itself
but
yet.
The moment it starts, AI can only do what we tell it to do. But the moment it starts doing what it wants to do, that's the problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Should AI have rights?
I was thinking about that too, because what if you make a piece of, you tell AI, make me, because now you can just say like a cat on a rainbow shark flying into space and it auto generates that. You can do that, but like say for something really bad, like I don't know, man eating other man, and it'll generate that picture. But whose fault is it that that picture exists? Well, if it's taking from someone else, isn't it the original creator's fault, or do we put it on AI? But then that doesn't make sense, because how are we going to punish AI? Or do we put it on the person that typed it in, or the person that created the AI? There's like all these different people you can blame for it, but there's no like real answer yet.
That kind of goes back to like, can you copyright AI art? Like, let's say, okay, AI, draw me a nice painting of a mountain.
I feel like no, not yet, because if it's not self-thinking, then...
Some people have tried to. Some people like, or AI, draw me a painting of a mountain, and they paint it, and then they copyright it. Okay, I drew this. Yeah. This is my thing.
If no one's claimed it yet, then maybe it's only taking things that people haven't claimed yet. So maybe it is possible.
We're about to have a second civil rights movement
against AI.
And I'm gonna be against the AI.
Yeah, I'll be against AI.
Whose team are you gonna be on?
Well, because that movie really put a lot of perspective into me, especially watching the full movie too. Like,
and I didn't watch the whole thing, so I didn't.
Josh didn't watch the full thing, but I definitely watched the full thing. I don't want to spoil it, but it kind of makes sense. Like, this really could happen, but there's ways to prevent it. You know, if we put regulation on what we can and can't do. But I think where we're heading right now is, that new Apple headset that they're making?
Oh, the Vision Pro,
Vision Pro. I think what they're going to start doing, or what I think would be a cool idea is, say you want to get to somewhere with Google Maps, right? Yeah. You just put it in your headset. It starts giving you like lines where to travel to get to the right area. Not driving necessarily, but if you're walking around, maybe it gives you like
you see the map, and the map is on the road.
Yeah, or like it just directs you where to go.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
So you don't have to like look down at your phone or all that other stuff. Or I think what they're gonna do is, while you're just enjoying your headset, they're gonna play ads. They're gonna play like ads that start playing whenever you're just in the headset
driving. That's another thing that's like kind of dystopian. Like, advertisements can be everywhere. Like,
I see them on cars now too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you can you can sign up for that, where you could they put an ad on your car.
Yeah, but that's kind of smart.
Advertising is kind of crazy
though.
Everything is monetized. Everything is
OnlyFans.
Someone is trying to promote someone was always trying to promote something, so you gotta
What did I do?
What is the rating for the show? Is this family friendly, or
I don't, it doesn't really have one yet.
This is for everyone, but not for everyone at the same time. Yeah, you gotta twist it in some way, and then twist it like, there you go.
It's not going.
You're twisting the wrong. Let me see.
It doesn't twist. You're not twisting it right.
Boom. I just twisted the twist out of it. All right, here you go. Do you like Twizzlers?
What?
What's it called? Twizzlers. Do you like those?
I probably can't eat them. Gluten free.
Oh yeah. Those suck. Whoever likes Twizzlers, please don't talk to me.
They look disgusting though. I've never had it, but
they're so. How do people like Twizzlers?
I know. Don't talk to either of us. Get off this podcast right now. You don't need to be here.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I love you. Stay here. Give me a 5-star review.
I don't love you, but we'll continue.
You know how whenever you're on your phone, sometimes in Google, it just pops up like articles, like news articles relating to what you search up?
Yeah.
I don't know why this one came up, but for me, there's a CNN article that came up, and it says, astronomers have detected a mysterious blast of radio waves that have taken 8 billion years to reach Earth. The fast radio burst is one of the most distant and energetic ever observed. And these have a name, actually. So the fast radio bursts, or FRBs, are intense, millisecond-long bursts of radio waves from unknown origins. So kind of like UFOs, kind of how we think of that, but in audio form. Like, we don't know what it is. The first FRB was discovered in 2007, and since then, hundreds of these quick cosmic flashes have been detected coming from distant points of the universe. They name all the different bursts that they have too, but the most recent one was like the furthest away we've ever gotten one, and it lasted less than a millisecond. It's equivalent to our sun's energetic emission over the course of 30 years. So what our sun produces in 30 years was the amount that was in that radio wave that we captured from 8 billion light years away or whatever. So what do you think that could be though? Because they don't know what it is. Like it's just unknown right now.
I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh,
aliens."
Yeah, where's aliens?
I don't think it's just aliens though. Like,
yeah, when you first said it, the immediately thing I thought of is like a whole bunch of people just sent a bunch of text messages like "help," and like you said a burst.
Yeah,
like, a whole bunch of like billions of text messages on a whole different planet saying "help."
Yeah,
but I don't think so. No. Do you believe in aliens or?
No, I don't believe in like the green little monster.
Yeah.
I think there could be life somewhere else because if you go by the 4.5 billion year whatever evolution theory, I mean that has to exist somewhere else, right?
For me, I think it's more likely we're alone than we're not alone, because I don't think people realize how rare it is that life.
It is. There has to be so many conditions that match up, like the distance from the sun, or
the temperature, the distance of the sun, the rate of expansion of the universe, and things like that. And then it's so rare.
Yeah, I just think that with how many we have trillions of planets and all this stuff, I think there could be at least one though, or maybe not just maybe not life, but like high energy stars or something like that could be producing like stuff like that. Because how do you get that 8 billion years away? Yeah. That's insane. That helps them map out the universe, by the way. Like, that's how we know how the universe is. Because if we see that radio wave, that means there had to be, like, nothing in its path to get here. But there is, like, dark matter in space that kind of distorts where radio waves are set and stuff. But they kind of map out the universe using this stuff. But they don't know what it is yet. So
I don't know.
If they found one maybe closer to us, maybe they could, like, investigate. These are just... I don't know. It just could be like new stars forming or supernovas, stuff like that. It could just be that, and we don't know yet. But I think it's cool to entertain the idea, like on another advanced civilization, maybe not humans necessarily, but just things like sent out a radio signal to try and find somebody who can send one back. Maybe
could be. We might be misreading something. Like for example, SpaceX, they're always doing some crazy experiment.
That's true.
And then people recording in the sky's like, oh my gosh, we have aliens. Oh, no, that was just
that's just SpaceX.
Yeah, that's just SpaceX.
Yeah, but I think this is that can't be them because this is way too far away.
No, but I'm saying like, oh, this just could be something that.
Yeah, it could be an anomaly.
I heard something that like there's always there's frequencies and radios everywhere. Like if you tune a TV. Like something like that, you can hear the hum of the beginning of the universe, like the Big Bang. You know how it like, exploded? It made a sound, and if you focus like a radio station at a certain channel, you can hear that.
I don't know if we know what that sounds like though, but maybe it's just speculation.
Yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of things, so I don't know.
I want to play you this audio actually of a super volcano that was recorded. Okay. The audio was recorded from it.
the loudest sound ever.
Have you heard that?
Are you talking about that?
Have you heard that?
No, I'm not.
It's technically the loudest like non-man-made sound ever.
The loudest sound ever recorded in
it's just natural, all natural.
Go ahead and play it.
This also happened in 1883. So I don't know how they had the technology to record this. It probably existed by then, but I think it's just crazy how long ago this happened. There's like a scale of decibel levels, right? What we're doing right now is like a 0 decibel level. You're just kind of like inside voice type thing, not really too loud. And then we go up to like, we got like a club at like 100 decibels, like a nightclub. Landscaping equipment is at 75 decibels. So basically like all these things we can imagine, pretty loud, right? This sound I think was at 600 decibels.
Oh, wow.
This actually gave me like a night, like low key night terrors. Like this sound is actually terrifying. It's this part right here.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's pretty scary.
You know, like Siren Head?
Oh yeah.
That sounds like Siren Head.
All right, real question is, how did they record that?
That's what I'm saying. I think there was audio like technology though to record audios because they had like they were coming out with radios around this time, so probably possible to record it.
Dang,
but
crazy.
It said so. This happened on an island, right? It's called the Krakatoa eruption. This happened on an island because it was a huge shield volcano that was just building up for a super long time. And what happens? It was like a lava plume coming up. That's how like the volcano happens, and it was on an island. So whenever it was about to erupt, there was like this earthquake or something that made the volcano crack on one of its sides, so it caved in, and that reaction caused the volcano to erupt. But why it was super loud is because it was falling in the water at the same time. So volcano cracks kind of on its side, and then it tilts into the water. So now the volcano eruption is at an angle. It's shooting at an angle, and it's like hitting the water. All this lava and stuff shoots out. And it's said that if you were in a certain radius, you would immediately die from the sound. The sound was too loud. Like if you were in a certain like 100 kilometers or something, you would just die instantly.
Except for the guy who recorded it, he survived.
This is like probably recorded from like a town. It was off the coast of the Philippines or something.
Birdie was just standing there like, don't worry, man, I got y'all.
No. It's probably recorded like from. It could be like an AI generated or something, but
it could be.
Probably pretty accurate to how it actually sounded.
Wow.
But it went like thousands of miles. The sound, not as loud, but the sound traveled to like the Philippines, and they could all hear it there. And this was in the middle of the ocean, on like some island. That sound at the end though is like. It just reminded me of like Siren Head, so it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
When he showed us that, I actually was getting like goosebumps in class. I was like, bro, this is scary. It's not even October yet.
This geography class has definitely had an effect on you.
Yeah.
I hear you talking about rocks and more and more.
I'm learning a lot, and it
good.
sounds stupid a lot of the time, but
That's good. I don't know who ever used this, but someone took a massive bite out of. Can you see this?
Nope.
I want to hear your thoughts on like sobriety.
Sobriety.
Because a lot of people don't care about it, right? But I want to hear like your thoughts, because obviously you're from faith, it's
Okay, my honest thoughts.
but not a lot of people
I don't even know what that means.
You cannot be for real.
Sobriety.
I don't know.
Not drinking
sober.
alcohol.
Sober.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah, people are probably gonna think after listening to this episode I'm incredibly stupid. Maybe, but okay. No, staying sober. Yeah, I think.
is it like a good thing or like
Well, yeah, I believe in self-control. If something is taking control of your life, you can't control yourself and tell yourself, "Oh, I don't need this," and then you fall yourself going back to it. Then I think it's a problem. Anything can become an addiction, right? A phone can be, and anything, right? So I think it's good to be self-control. I'm all for so whatever the word was.
self-control? Sobriety.
Sobriety. Yeah.
So there's this quote from sometime around there.
Something like that.
But
yeah.
he was like the Greek philosopher, right?
Yeah, very smart guy.
Yeah, very
Like me.
smart guy. I got the quote. It was Aristotle, sorry. Freedom is the ability to choose the right thing. So he's saying in a perfect society, we wouldn't need laws or anything like that. He's saying our freedom comes from being able to do the right thing. Because if we're staying to get addicted to something, we don't have freedom. We're not put in freedom. But he's saying if we have enough control on ourselves to stay away from those bad things, like we wouldn't need laws or anything. We would be perfect humans, he's saying.
I get what you mean. So basically, if we lived in a perfect moral world, there would be no need for
that was his like philosophy.
Going to alcohol or
like having laws in place in general. Like we would have our own freedoms because we choose what we want to do. And I think that's what the American system's trying to set up.
Yeah,
but a lot of people can't do that,
That's the thing, though. How much freedom is too much freedom? Now I know that sounds crazy. Like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. He's gonna take away our freedom. No.
There's restrictions on us right now. Like,
so here's the thing, though. Everyone is always preaching about, oh, let's do whatever you want to do, but there has to be exceptions, right? Obviously, what if some guy has a crazy philosophy? Oh, I'm here to kill every single person on earth.
And that's probably more like justified by him or whatever. But obviously, everyone else, no.
Yeah. So that's the thing, though. Where does morality come from? Who decides what is right and wrong?
I think it evolves with human beings.
So, but that's the thing, though. Is there a standard, as in it never changes?
No, it changes. Think about 300 years ago. Cyberbullying was not a thing.
Right.
That wasn't morally incorrect. And probably in some ancient civilizations, they probably didn't see, like maybe like drinking, for example. They didn't see that as a bad thing. Like they always drank. But now today, we kind of have it as like a standard, like, oh, you can't drink under this age, when back then they were drinking when they were like 7 years old. So I think it's always evolving, like morals.
But that's the thing that, like, is there such thing as good and evil?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, but if it's always changing, there's no standard, though.
There's not really a standard. It's just how everyone sees it in the present moment.
So who's to say that I'm right and you're wrong?
Whatever you believe in. That's like.
So if I believe I'm right, does that make me right?
It makes you right in your mind, but for other people, maybe not.
But talking
because there's no normal person.
But talking objectively, applies to everyone. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Because I say I'm right.
Yeah.
But what if you say I'm wrong?
You said it's subjective, so it means everyone's in that same position, right?
So, okay, objectively, let's say I believe cats are awesome, right?
Okay.
I think I'm right, but you think I'm wrong. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, it's to each their own. That's isn't that what it is?
So then it's not objective. It's subjective.
It's subjective. Okay, so it's subjective.
So, but previously you just told me it was objective. So is morality objective or subjective?
I didn't really know what that word meant, to be honest. I thought it meant subjective.
Subjective is like, okay, it applies to you only. Okay. Objective is like everyone. So is morality subjective? Like it just applies to you? Like it's to each their own, like would you say?
I think I think it's objective because we all come together to decide what's right or wrong. But with like instances like that, I think it's subjective. You know what I mean? Because that's not morals. It's just opinion. That just comes on. I thought we were talking about morals.
What if I say, okay, killing kittens is wrong, Right.
And that's where everyone comes together to say that's wrong or that's like right. You know what? Or like there's unanimous, a majority, like unanimous. Majority. Yeah.
So you think the majority decides what's right and wrong?
Yeah. Because think about it. Like America runs on the majority.
It does. Like, but it doesn't necessarily make it right because at one point.
Well, who's to say it's right or wrong?
That's the thing though. We know it's right or wrong. The question is, how do we know? Because
we're taught.
You said at one point the majority of America agreed that slavery was okay.
Yeah.
So at that point.
That's why I'm saying it's always evolving.
So in that time, so let's travel back in time. Yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's okay because that's the moral standard of that time. So that's what I'm saying. It's objective because it changes. It's always changing.
So let's go back in time.
Okay.
Let's say we're living back to those days.
Yeah.
Jim Crow laws and things like that.
Oh.
So slavery is okay?
Yes, because that's
okay.
Because if you're in that time period, you're telling me yes.
Oh no, yes or no?
You're telling me no, I did not because I said it was okay.
I just caught this.
I just said it was okay.
So it is okay.
Slavery's
okay.
You're just you're twisting things. You're twisting.
Slavery is okay. Is wild.
No, you're twisting it.
Okay.
It's in the time, like I was saying. It's always evolving because how they saw slavery back then was their profits would increase without having to hire more labor. This is what they thought back then.
So slavery,
and then morals evolved. People started realizing. Like more majority started realizing this is not okay, and that's when a moral standard is set that it's not okay. That's what I'm saying. Like it was okay in that time period, but as we evolve, it doesn't become. It's not okay anymore.
I have a feeling this might be the last episode. Okay, so you're telling me that slavery was okay?
Was it not? Like you can't tell me.
What? No, that's crazy.
No, you cannot.
That's wild. Okay.
I'm not saying I thought it was okay. I'm saying that time period thought it was okay.
So objectively, slavery was okay at that time.
No, bro, you're not.
I'm listening.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
No, I'm trying to point out there's a illogical fallacy.
There is, but that's for everything though. You can always argue.
No, I'm saying that there is an objective moral standard that's been the same today, yesterday, and forever.
Yeah, there's definitely some of those, but I think it's always evolving. I think it's changing. I don't think it's always the exact same.
I think there's opinions on it, but I feel like there's some things that are just wrong. There are things that are right and wrong. But I don't think majority decides what that is because obviously we change our minds every 3 seconds. Whatever was wrong yesterday is now considered right today. So I think there is an objective moral standard that's the majority doesn't decide what it is. It isn't just subjective or we want to do whatever we want to do. I think
maybe it has its own rules. Because I just believe it evolves. I just believe it always changes.
I'm saying if it changes, there is no such thing as right and wrong because everything is subjective.
It's at the time, though. You can't just say, I didn't mean that I think slavery is okay right now. I'm saying in that time period, everyone came together to believe that, okay, this is right. We're going to do this, right? And then as time progresses, everyone starts realizing this isn't okay. And those people start fighting for their own rights. And that's where we are today, right?
I'm just saying that chattel slavery was wrong in all.
Oh yeah, free all them boys. It was not right.
Yeah, I'm just saying in all instances, at that point, it was wrong. 300 years ago, it was wrong.
Yeah.
300 years from now. No, I'm saying it's wrong forever. You're saying
you're not. Put yourself in the perspective of a slave owner back then. Okay,
we're going back in time.
Yeah, put yourself in the perspective of them.
I would say it's still wrong.
How? That's your bias right now, though, because you have to go into the mindset of all these people that had slaves. There was thousands, like hundreds of thousands of people that owned slaves, and they could all think they all probably thought it was right? Because why would it exist if no one thought it was right?
Well, there's a bunch of things that people consider okay today. Like for example, I don't like the death penalty.
Like sobriety, right? Kind of.
Yeah, like sobriety. Yeah. I don't like the death penalty. I'm saying here right now, I'm saying the death penalty shouldn't be a thing today, yesterday, or forever.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that, it could change today.
It could change. I believe it could change.
People's ideas can change, but I'm saying there is a standard that it is wrong forever. That's just what I believe.
Yeah, that's fair, though.
Yeah.
Because I just believe that, because there's always new things coming into life, right? Like phones and stuff. Like cyberbullying didn't exist all that time ago, but now it exists. And who would to say that, cyberbullying's not okay if it didn't exist yet? You know what I mean? Things change.
Even though cyberbullying didn't exist, the concept of hurting others. Oh, sorry.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a standard that is always the same.
Yeah.
Mistreating people is obviously going to be the same, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, though. So it can never change. That's just what I believe. And we almost got into a heated debate there.
No, it's okay. I like that though.
Yeah, debate's gotta clash ideas, but yeah, we'll let the viewers decide on who's right. Who's right? Vote number 1 if you think that. I'm just kidding. If you think I'm right.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Josh, for joining the episode today.
No problem.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Love you.